welcome to Barra the Terrible. Today we're over the Rolling Rafflesia featuring the new Venusaur from Pokemon Go and our Flapple VMAX from Battle Styles. So we're playing Memory Capsule for this deck, helping us do Sour Spit for only 1 Grass Energy with the VMAX, adding 2 colorless to our opponent's active Pokemon's attack cost. That means we get to stall until we have enough energies on our Flapple VMAX to do G-Max rolling for turn in 50 damage later on in the game. So 250 plus 20 plus the poison damage is actually enough to kill a V-Star. Loopy Lasso actually allows you to switch anyone of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active, affect them with poison and sleep condition just before you hit them with Sour Spit. We also have our Galar Mine to trap them in the active, making it a bit more difficult for them to retreat. For our draw support, we have 1 Radiant Venusaur, 2 Marnie, 2 Research, 2 Schoolgirl, 2 Bird Keepers, 1 Shauna, 1 Zenith's Resolve, and 1 Kamado. To set up our bench, we have 4 VP Pass, 3 Quick Ball, 2 Capture, and 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. For the evolution, we have 3 Incense and 1 Ultra Ball. For the switch, we have 1 Escape Rope, 1 Switch, and 2 Bird Keepers. Finally, we're also playing 1 Cheryl, 1 Honey, and 1 Lucky Ice Pop to recover as much damage as we can from our Flapple VMAX to do as much damage as possible with G-Max rolling. So that's all for the deck list, and be sure to grab yourself some packs from our sponsor at XTrainer90 Team to build your very own deck from any cards in format. They even sell online codes for character rares, full art, and gold cards to expand your collection. So check out the link in the description below or click on the top right corner of this video to enhance your PTCG experience. Use code BTT for 5% off any products to get yourself some lovely cards. And now for the moment of truth, let's go for some gameplays! Okay, let's go for our first game versus Ambipom. We're up against Ambipom with the new Venusaur and Exeggutor. They're playing a full-on Pokemon Go set here. They got all the new cards. So they're playing a tilted deck. Tilted swing for 60x damage. You know, flipping coins for each energy attached to your Ambipom. They get to flip a coin as well each time we damage their Pokemon. If they flip a heads, they get to prevent all damage done to their Ambipom. And also, they are flipping coins with Exeggutor for that 5 extra energy onto their Ambipom, obviously. Or they can even do, you know, they can even grow tall to attach those 5 grass energy onto the Exeggutor to do a bench snipe. Just because we have no... we are not playing Manaphy for this deck, so they can actually do a bench snipe quite easily. And they can also do a reverse snipe by doing a Venusaur to drag something out from our bench and then snipe our active while trapping our bench as the new active. So that's a very interesting strategy. Exeggutor with Venusaur is very interesting, but Ambipom is kind of just, you know, a bit too much, I would say. It's kind of just throwing all the cards into the same deck, which isn't really working too well because you're playing so many Pokemons. You have your basic Stage 1 and Stage 2 card, and Venusaur doesn't actually work that well if you play only 2 copies in your deck. You need at least 3 copies to be able to evolve up to 2 in play, and then flip 2 coins every single turn. Otherwise, if you're not flipping 2 coins, you won't be able to use that ability as much as you would like. You won't be able to get you know, enough hits to get you that extra boss effect every single turn, because if you can't do it, you know, sometimes like for 5 turns straight you may get tails over and over with only one Venusaur in play. That's why you need at least 2 for you to double flip every single turn. So coin flips are always very risky. That's why it's always important to maximize your odds by flipping as many coins as you can, attaching as much energy as you can to your Ambipom, evolving as many Venusaurs onto your bench as possible. Or playing a Glimwood Tangle and Blunder's Policy. Those actually helps you, those cards actually help you flip, you know, better odds. So we got a Shauna and a Kamado in our hand. We got our Rare Candy. We got 1 Venusaur ready to go for next turn. I think we discarded 1 Venusaur and have 1 prized. So we are only able to evolve 1, unfortunately, for this game. But eventually, I'm pretty sure we got out both. Full Tilt Swing, I think that's the name of the attack. And they just killed our Bulbasaur with a double heads. So now are we gonna play a Marnie or a Kamado? Let's do a Shauna. I'm kind of tempted to do a Marnie though, because Marnie is probably gonna get us our Venusaur, but we kind of need a supporter card, and Shauna just gave us nothing. We didn't even get a supporter card with Shauna. This is just terrible, and we're not able to discard our hand. That means we're not able to draw more cards with the Radiant Venusaur, but at least we got a knockout this turn. We get to do GMAX rolling to kill the Ambipom, and that is, gonna help us for one extra turn. We actually drew a Bird Keeper as well, so we can draw something for the next turn. We got our Escape Rope to basically re-attack with the same Flapple, with the same VMAX. But wasting our switch cards may not be a smart idea, though. It's better to conserve your switch cards because you only have 4 copies to spare. Only 2 Bird Keepers, 1 Escape Rope, and 1 Switch in this deck. If you run out of those switch cards and if you get trapped by your own Galar Mine, then you're probably gonna get, you're probably gonna die because you cannot attack that easily with your Venusaur. If they boss trap your Venusaur, you're done for because you need 4 energies to do only 130 damage with your Venusaur. If they deck you out with that strategy, they may actually win the game. So be very careful how many cards you have left in your deck. Be very careful with how you're playing this strategy, just because you are trying to deck them out in a sense sometimes. Because if you keep using Sour Spit and Venusaur, if you keep pulling their bench Pokemon that has not enough energies, that is not prepared to attack, that is not able to attack, something like a Celebration Zacian, or something like a Gardevoir Shining Arcana, something that you are, that is not meant to attack, like a Magnezone or something that's only doing very low damage with those abilities, then you actually get to trap those Pokemons in the active. Maybe a Greninja, a Radiant Greninja. They got Scoop Up Net to remove that from the active though, so Scoop Up Net is going to help them a lot. Let's play a Bird Keeper right here and do our Pollen Hazard for 90 damage plus the Poison, Burn, and Confusion special condition. We get to confuse the Ambipom and force them to flip even more coins. And if we get if they got a first Tails, if they flip a Tails, we actually get to kill it. There we go. We killed the Ambipom. So we don't need to worry about the special condition. It does not prevent all effects of attacks. It only prevents damage. If you flip ahead with Ambipom's ability, what's it called again? I don't know what the ability is called. I forgot. But it prevents all damage. It doesn't prevent any effects. So you need Big Parasol, you need Wash Energy to prevent effects. And Wash doesn't work because it's not a water type, obviously. And Big Parasol for Miltank is pretty cool. Big Parasol for Ambipom, pretty interesting. But there are always ways to get past those cards. You have your Tool Jammer, Tool Scrapper. We have a lot of ways to get past that attack, that ability as well. Canceling Cologne, Derailodon VMAX, ignore all effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. GMAX 1 Blow. Obviously, you're not gonna. It's not wise to use a 1 Blow just to kill a 1 price card, but sometimes you may have no choice but to do that. It's just better to do it, because if you can boss something else on the bench with a 2 price on the bench like a Luminion, then you're probably gonna collect enough prizes for the win. Doing a 1 Blow against the Ambipom, it may be wiser to do that, because if you have enough urns in the deck, I think it warrants a 1 blow. 1 or 2 blows against 2 Ambipoms. So we got another Tails. I mean, our opponent got another Tails, so we actually got double Ambipom knockout with Pollen Hazard. And our first one was GMAX rolling. So now we got 3 prize down. They got their first prize with the Bulbasaur knockout. And now they're gonna do Growing Tall to search their deck for 5 energies if they get a heads though. Are they gonna get the Glimwood Tangle? Glimwood is gonna help them with Exeggutor's first attack, and is also gonna help them with Ambipom's full tilt swing. So I think Glimwood Tangle is gonna be very, very useful for this deck, since they're playing so many coin flips. So Blunder Policy, they actually have one. You'll see it later. They're playing a Blunders Policy, but they also are probably playing a Glimmertangle, although I don't think we saw any copies in play. Like, I don't think they even used it at all throughout this game. It would be very useful though. We did an escape rope, and now we're probably gonna do our Venusaur. Oh, we actually do have a lot of copies of the stage 2 in the deck. So my bad. I was kind of mistaken of which game this was. This is a different game because this is a post-recorded audio. So right now we actually get to flip 2 coins. Let's just evolve the second one. We have no rods for this deck, unfortunately. So if we research discard too many copies of our stage 2 Pokemon, we cannot revive them. We cannot, put our Venusaur back from the discard pile into our deck. And that's why we're only playing 1 copy of Research and 1 Kamado. Not many of those discarders. Zinnia actually allows you to discard any other cards from your hand. So obviously don't discard the things that you need. The things that you're not able to recover. You're not able to, revive from the discard pile. We do have, we don't have Training Card anymore. I just realized that. So at some point, building this deck, I actually experimented it with, Greninja and Training Card. I really wanted to try putting Crushing Hammer into this deck, just because Hammer and Sour Spit seems like a good combo, but I don't think Sour Spit is doing much, honestly, and I think we are doing a lot more with GMX rolling eventually in the game. So Rose and Cheryl would actually make much more sense, but since those cards are supporter and you can't actually play any other draw supports, there's no other draw support but Venusaur, Radiant Venusaur, or Greninja. Since you have to bench so many stage 2 and even another Flapple just in case your first one gets knocked out, I don't think you have the space for a Crobat or something else like that, just because we're not playing that many stadiums as well. If they play Path, we cannot actually play the Crobat. So I don't know really what to do with this deck. Crobat isn't really solving the issue though, because if you play a Cheryl or a Rose, you're going to empty your hand, and then Crobat is not going to help you later on. It's going to only help you for that 1 turn, and then after that, what are you going to do? It's pretty interesting though, because if it works, it's super satisfying. If you get to pull a V-Star, or even a V card, a basic V, into the active, and then trap them with the sleep poison condition, or even just poison them. If you can Sour Spit right now, and if they don't evolve, if they evolve already, it's even better. You can trap them in the active, you can poison them, get that extra 10 damage in the game, and then Sour Spit for 20 more. You actually get to deny them from attacking on the next turn. If they evolve though, they get to erase the effect, and then they get to attack once more. But if they already evolved, you actually get to trap them from attacking. You get to force them to play either a Bird Keeper and a Switch, or a Bird Keeper and an Air Balloon. Or if they don't get those cards, they are actually stuck for 1 entire turn, and then you get to drag them out from the bench once more with your boss effect, Loopy Lasso, to do your GMAX rolling on the next turn for 250 up to 280 damage. 290 actually, because you actually did your Loopy Lasso on your last turn as well, which is a bit much, I know. But if you can, for example, do Sour Spit on your first turn, on the active Palkia, for example, and then if they retreat to the bench on the next turn, you evolve, do a Rose, and then GMAX rolling with the Loopy Lasso, you actually get to kill the Palkia, 280 HP. That is kind of like the perfect math, but there's always something, it's just conceptual though. It's always much more difficult than it seems, because Rose is not that easy to play. I eventually decided to remove that card from this deck and added like more heal cards instead, just to make our Flapple survive a bit longer without having to discard all the energies. So if you play a Cheryl, you're gonna have to play a Rose eventually. If you play a Rose early in the game, you need your Radiant Venusaur to draw cards, obviously. If they play a Path to the Peak, Venusaur is not doing anything. It's not helping you draw cards. And then Rose is going to empty your hand. So I don't think it's a really good card to add in this deck, honestly. Because early in the game, we're not able to discard that many basic energies anyways. So unless if you're playing Greninja. So Rose Greninja makes more sense than Rose Venusaur, Radiant Venusaur. But if you play Rose with Greninja, then you cannot actually draw cards after discarding your hand. So that's actually the bad thing, right? You can discard your energies more easily, but you can't actually... So that's why we have a lot more Ultra Ball in this deck, you know, because initially we did have a Rose, we have a lot of Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, and even an Aurora at the start, you know, when I first experimented with this deck, because I really wanted to discard my Grass Energy and do a Rose for that quick GMX rolling. If you play Rose though, you need a lot of rods to recycle your stage 2, because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up, you know, discarding your Venusaurs, your stage 2 Venusaur, and be left with no Loopy Lassos. No way of using the ability. Okay, right now we're up against a Gardevoir with Mewtwo V-Star, which is pretty interesting. So Shining Arcana for the energies, and then Mewtwo to discard and kill. Mewtwo gets to do 90x damage for each Psychic Energy you discard from your Pokemon, from any of your Pokemon. Only 3 though. That means you get to do up to a max of 270 damage without Choice Belt, without Hawlucha. With those cards, you get to kill a VMAX with 1 shot. And it's pretty awesome, I think. Mewtwo V-Star is pretty powerful. It even has the Psychic Raid attack. Psy Raid, my bad. Star Raid. Star Raid to do 120 damage to all of your opponents' V Pokemon in play, including their bench if they don't play a Manaphy. Only 120, but if they play Telescopic Sight, they get to do 150. And then Basculin for the knockout on the next turn. Basculin doesn't make sense. Farfetch makes more sense because they're playing Psychic Energy, right? So Psychic Energy with Lunatone and Shining Arcana, my bad. Shining Arcana and Farfetch with the Psy Raid. Star Raid. Keep calling everything the wrong names. Here comes the first Gardevoir, and we got our first Venusaur on the last turn, so it seems fair for them to get the rare candy as well. And they got the Zacian. So this is a very interesting game here. Both players are playing a stage 2 support, but we are using our stage 2 as a boss. They are using a stage 2 as basically a beauty or something that draws 2 cards from the deck, but also attaches the energy. If you know, if the top 2 cards are energies, they get to attach to their Pokemon in any way they like, which is a big thing, right? Because you get to attach to your Zacian, you get to attach to anything. You can even attack with Gardevoir, doing Brainwave for 60 base and 30 more for each Psychic Energy attached to that Pokemon. So you can do unlimited damage as long as you have, you know, unlimited energies attached. So Gardevoir with Energy Recycler makes a lot of sense. I think you need at least 1 or at least 2 copies, I would say, if you're playing a Gardevoir deck. Gardevoir for a basic is much better though. They even have a Cresselia. I mean, I don't think Cresselia is necessary. Honestly, it's better just to accelerate with Gardevoir, nothing but Gardevoir, because if you have 1 copy of Cresselia, it kind of shows that you're not really focusing that much on your Gardevoir line. It's better to focus solely on Cresselia or solely on Gardevoir, right? If you play Cresselia, just play Articuno. Don't play Gardevoir with Cresselia. Like, what are you doing? Why are you playing Zacian with Gardevoir? Why are you playing Cresselia with Gardevoir? It makes more sense to do Cresselia, Zacian, and Articuno with Mewtwo V-Star without the Gardevoir. If you're playing a stage 2, might as well just, you know, focus on the rare candy, focus on getting those candies out, do the Mirage Step, you know, stuff like that. Because if you get like 3 Gardevoirs on the bench, that's going to help you a lot in the long run. That's like, you know, at least 4 extra cards into your hand. If you don't get energies, like probably you're gonna get at least 1 energy in the game, and all you need is 1 energy though sometimes, because if you play like experience share, you can actually do 270 damage every single turn with your Mewtwo V-Star. If you do Shining Arcana 3 times, you're probably gonna get at least 2 energies, and then all you need is 1 energy from your hand with a Training Court or a Fog Crystal, and that means you got 3 energies in the game without doing a Raihan, without doing an experience share, and that's a lot. So I would recommend playing Mirage Step, more Curlias instead of Cresselia, Zacian V, you know. I think that makes more sense. But if you play a stage 1 though, a V-Star is essentially a stage 1. So a V-Star evolution, in addition to a stage 2, is not really that good anymore, is it? We are kind of doing the same thing because we are playing a VMAX, Flapple VMAX with a stage 2 Venusaur. So that's why this deck isn't really that powerful. It's not really that, you know, it's not really that strong, but it is a fun, interesting deck to play around with, just because you have your Sour Spit, you have your, you know, Loopy Lasso Trap, Galar Mine Trap. You can actually, you know, trap your opponent until the end of the game by forcing them to deck out, you know, keep on pulling out a Pokemon that has no energies to attack, that, you know, is not meant to attack. Something like, I already repeated this, so something like a Crobat, or, you know, I don't know what else to say. A Radiant Venusaur, you know, they may just play a 1-price deck with Radiant Venusaur that's not, you know, that's not supposed to attack. Darkness, you know, a Shedinja deck with Radiant Venusaur. Ditto Shedinja. Ditto Shedinja plays Cherim though. So Cherim plays Grass Energy, so probably they could actually attack with Pollen Hazard as well. But if they do cards like, if they play Eradicate, you know, Eradicate with Radiant Venusaur, then they're playing Darkness Energy instead. Or if they play, I actually played my Ditto Shedinja with Psychic Energy, because Psychic Energy allows you to play Fog Crystal for, you know, to search for your Shedinja or your Psychic Energy. And then if you get your Psychic Energy, your basic Psychic, you actually get to reattach them with your Raihan Experience Share onto your next Ditto, and then all you need to do is attach a Twin from your hand or a Double Turbo to do Life Squeeze. So Life Squeeze, if you guys are not familiar with that card, allows you to put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until they have 10 HP remaining, and then all you need to do is poison the active for the knockout. So Life Squeeze, for 1 prize, you get to OHKO any Pokemon in play, a VMAX, a V-Star, anything with as high HP as you want. They can put like 4 Stone Energies on their active. They can put like Big Charm, whatever they want. It does not matter. They can have a Quick Attune, like All I Care. They can have anything they want. Life Squeeze is gonna kill them with a poison condition. So they actually played Roar of the Sword, which is kind of embarrassing, because Gardevoir is not helping them attach any energies apparently. So they are playing so many bosses. They should be playing more energies, I would say, because I'm not seeing that many attachments from Shining Arcana. You wouldn't be needing Zacian's ability if you focus on Gardevoir, because now they only have 1 Gardevoir and it's not really helping them because they don't have enough draw support. Gardevoir is their draw support, and they are playing so many control supporters. They have Boss's Order. I wonder what other supporter cards they have. Not a lot. They got Research and Marnie, I guess. Rotomphone is not a good card. I mean, why do they have a Rotomphone? I guess it's for the Shining Arcana to attach the energy, but I would just do something else. One copy is okay though, I guess. Rotomphone, quite smart, I would say. Sometimes you don't have the space for that though. Sometimes it's just better to swap it for, you know, Pokemon Breeder or something. I quite like Pokemon Breeder with Gardevoir, Pokemon Breeder is probably the best combo with your Mirage Step, because all you need to do is play that attack on your second turn, evolve into Curlia, Mirage Step, copy as duplicate as many Curlias onto your bench as you can, and then probably do a Switching Cups or Ranguru to put any Curlias in your hand. If you get them into your hand, you can't actually summon them with your Mirage Step because it has to be inside your deck. So you need to put them back into the deck with either Primary Wisdom or Switching Cups or a Marnie or something like that. And then all you need to do on the next turn is Pokemon Breeder, Incense to evolve all of your Gardevoir. And then you got, up to 6 extra cards into your hand. 6 draw. That's a lot. And if any of those are energies, you get to attach them onto your Pokemon. Basic energies. Like, you get to attach, any type of basic energy. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So, as you can see, we actually have a Rose for this list. We have a Rose, we have Cheryl, we have no Lucky Ice Pop, and no Honey. This is a bit of a different one. Our last game, the last game against Ambipom was actually the final upgrade. This one is one of the earlier versions, the very first initial initial inspiration of this deck. When I first started off building this combo, I had the idea of doing a Rose with Cheryl, because if you play a Cheryl with Memory Capsule, you get to do we even have an energy retrieval. We have no training card, but we do have energy retrieval. So Cheryl, energy retrieval, Memory Capsule helps you attack with Sour Spit while waiting for your next GMX rolling. So all you need to do is Rose on your next turn, or if you don't get a Rose, just Sour Spit again, and then eventually do your GMX rolling after spitting enough times. They're probably gonna get their switch cards eventually though. So switch Air Balloon and then remove the effect of Sour Spit to damage your Flapple. And then if they do that, you cannot actually do you can't attack that much damage anymore, because GMAX Rolling is doing 10 less damage for each damage counter on your Flapple VMAX. And if you have like 25 damage counters on your VMAX, you are doing 0 damage. 25 or more, you're doing 0 damage with that with the GMAX Rolling. Okay, they finally did their first attack. So here comes Star Raid. They're actually choosing to attack with Star Raid. Oh, they did it on the last turn, my bad. So I wasn't focusing. So they did it already. They did Star Raid on the last turn. And then we actually played a Cheryl, and now they're doing Psy Purge to damage our active by 270 damage. So now we have no way to kill the V-Star. I think our best bet here is to deck them out, because they have 9 cards left in the deck. All we need to do is keep playing Venusaur to drag out the Gardevoir, because I think they have more switch cards. So switch card only works for basic Pokemon. If you play evolutions in your deck, switch card doesn't work, doesn't help you switch those Pokemons out. So we're gonna drag the Gardevoir instead. We actually dragged the Zacian a few times, which is pretty stupid, because we saw the switch card. We saw them playing the switch card early in the game, and we should have, anticipated them playing more copies of those switches. So if you know your opponent is playing a certain card, make sure you play your strategy, change your strategy to suit those combos. Because if they have switch cards, they probably cannot actually retreat with the evolution that easily. It's much more difficult for them to do that, because they now need 4 energies to retreat or a stadium card. They can also attack with the Gardevoir, by the way, so we have to watch out for that. We have to do a Sour Spit. If they try to attack with Brainwave, they may not have enough energies to attack now that they have only 5 cards in the deck. They may just at some point do a energy recycler. So not only are they able to replenish the deck, they can also attack. They can choose to attack if they want with Shining Arcana. So that recycler is gonna help them a lot. Let's see, are they able to play that card? I don't think we need to do anything. We just need to pass the turn until they deck out. We have 14 cards left in the deck. If they play a Marnie at some point, I think we're still good. I think the thing we have to watch out for is obviously the recycler, but they haven't drew a single prize card. So the recycler could be in the prize, and we may actually survive this game not being, we may actually win this game by decking them out without having to face a single recycler. So we are looping the Gardevoirs right now, because the first one actually has a few, like less than 100 HP remaining. So let's just drag out the second one and, get more turns in the game. So we chose to do that because we are flipping the coin with the sleep condition. So if they go to sleep, they actually have to get the switch card. They cannot retreat, right? Even if they play like air balloon and a stadium card, they still cannot retreat because they are asleep. There we go, 2 cards left in the deck. Will they get the recycler? They're not doing the Arcana, obviously. I'm guessing they would pull a Marnie at some point. Are they gonna do a Marnie right now? It would be a bit depressing if they do that. Okay, no Marnie. They just conceded. Eventually, it's essentially conceding if you have 0 cards in your deck and you pass the turn. So since it's the last turn, we decided to play our Rose, emptying our hand, because we don't need to do anything else. And Sour Spit actually does kill off the Gardevoir, helping us draw that extra 1 card for like 10 points, I guess. 2 points, I think. 2 points in the ladder. If you draw a prize, you get 2 points. I'm not sure though. I think so. We got another Cheryl. So for this game, we actually played 2 copies of Cheryl, 1 Paw Pad, and 1 Rose, which is a bit different from the final upgrade of the list. And I kind of prefer the one with the Lucky Ice Pop and Honey, just because Cheryl doesn't really work that well. If you don't have your Memory Capsule, if you run out of it as well, you cannot actually attack after doing the Cheryl. And since we're not playing training card, it's not that easy to attack after using that card as well, since we have no proper draw support. Like, our only draw support is Venusaur, and that only helps us at the end of our turn. If we got no energies at the start of the turn, before doing the Cheryl, then we cannot actually attack after playing that card. So we're up against a Miltank deck now. They're playing a Dragapult Miltank. A stage 2 Dragapult, which is pretty interesting. Kind of the same as the first game, Ambipom. Now they have a stage 2 instead. For some reason, Dragapult is a bit more difficult to get past. Like, the ability works the odds are better for the stage 2, I guess, just because it is much more difficult to Rare Candy evolve. The odds are better in your favor just because Dragapult, well, it is a Dragapult as well. Like, Dragapult is, a famous card. People love Dragapult. Galar Pokemon. So we didn't get our Radiant Venusaur. Unfortunately, it's priced. And we're not able to draw cards at all. They didn't get their energies though. They got a capture, but they attached it to the Menifee. Because capture is not gonna work for the Dragapult. Dragapult needs 2 psychic energies to attack. Phantom something does 120 to the active. And then 3 damage counter on the bench in any way you like. Not a lot, but eventually it can kill you. It can do a lot, you know? Like 120 on the bench after they kill the active is gonna add up, right? Those damage counters on the bench is gonna add up. If they do 120 later, then that's gonna kill those bench Pokemons. Okay, we're gonna evolve on the next turn. We're just gonna do Sour Spit again. We got a Cheryl, we got a Lucky Ice Pop. If we get an energy on the next turn, we're just gonna G-Max roll. Are we gonna G-Max roll though? We actually got the energy. Let's do the Marnie. Obviously. But are we gonna kill the Menifee? We got our Ivysaur. First evolution. Well, our second evolution actually. We got the VMAX already. You can actually choose to play Turffield Stadium or like Hisuian Lilligant V-Star. I don't think it's that smart to play that many Pokemons though. You can choose to play Turffield Stadium to evolve your Flapple and Venusaur. But I prefer to play, you know, Galar Mine for the extra control. So many decks have Stadium cards now. Like, Shady Dealings for Training Court, Shady Dealings for Path to the Peak is pretty common for decks to play Stadium cards and to have, you know, Star Birth or some, you know, special technique to search them out. Peony or Skyla / Shady Dealing Star Birth. I don't think there's any other way to search for stadiums. And now we got nothing in our hand. We have to wait for the Radiant Venusaur from the prize. And I don't think we have a heavy ball in the deck either. I think both our Venusaur and the heavy ball is in the prize, which is a bit unlucky. And now we're gonna have to wait for a supporter card to draw something into our hand. Let's just pass a turn. We actually chose not to kill the Menifee because, you know, we got a dead hand. If we kill the Menifee, they're probably going to do 120 on the Flapple on the next turn, and then we cannot knock out the Dragapult anymore. It's better for us to Loopy Lasso on Dragapult and then try to kill it with G-Max rolling before they damage our Flapple, unless if they do a switch. So all they need is a switch right now. We passed a lot of turns though. I think two full turns not doing an attack, which is saying a lot. That means they don't have enough switch cards in their deck. I mean, I don't know. Both players are kind of stuck. All we need is that one Venusaur. Like, where is our bloody Venusaur? We got 3 copies, 3 incense, 1 Ultra Ball. Where are they? Supporter cards, come on. So many. Schoolgirl, come on. Research, finally. We're forced to discard the VMAX, so this is our only attacker, unfortunately. We're gonna have to attack with something else. We actually got enough energies on the Venusaur to attack. So the reason we are charging up the Ivysaur on the bench is because they have Miltank. Miltank actually gets to tank that, gets to wall against our Flapple because it is a V card. So we cannot do any damage to the Miltank, but we can do Sour Spit to basically add their attack costs and buy ourselves that extra few turns to attach onto our Radiant Venusaur and also our Stage 2 Venusaur to attack with Solar Beam or Pollen Hazard. And now we got our first Loopy Lasso for heads. Let's hope, fingers crossed, we get, you know, our opponent gets a Tails for a knockout. Because if we kill this Dragapult, we're gonna be there we go. We got a heads. I mean, they got a tails. So now they're set back by a whole extra turn unless if they get a Raihan. All they need is a Raihan to attack us with the second Dragapult. But they chose to put the Miltank, so I'm guessing they don't have a Raihan. There we go. A boss instead. Trying to kill the Venusaur, but it has 180 HP is a lot. I don't think they can kill it that easily. For stage 2, it is quite a lot of damage. Quite a lot of HP, my bad. So let's get the Radiant Venusaur out right now. We actually do have a my mistake, we have the heavy ball inside the deck after all. And now we're gonna play the Radiant Venusaur, draw a few cards eventually. Let's just play the Ice Pop just to remove that card from our hand, because I don't think we need to be bothered with that. Let's kill off the Miltank right now and deal with the Dragapult on next turn. We should have done a switch and attack with the Dragapult though, right? Sorry, attack with the Flapple on Dragapult. We should have tried the Loopy Lasso, because that would have given us like you know, double coin flips against the Dragapult, because they have 0 energies, and they may not have, they may get trapped on the next turn without energies, because they are playing like 2 different energies though. They have Twin Energy for Miltank, Capture for Miltank, and also Psychic Energy for Dragapult, obviously. There we go. We're gonna gamble again on GMX rolling, hopefully get another Tails from our opponent's end. Because if we kill this Dragapult, it's gonna be absolutely delicious. No, we didn't get it. Oh well. We got, you know, the poison condition at least. I think we should be thinking about confusing the Dragapult. If we can confuse the Dragapult with the Pollen Hazard, I think, you know, Radiant Venusaur is actually a really good card, just because you can confuse your opponent's active Pokemon while doing 90 damage. Base 90 is quite a lot. For 3 Grass Energy, I don't think is that powerful, but I think it's enough. If you play Gardenia, I think it's going to be much better for Radiant Venusaur, but I don't think we have the space for that card, because we're not playing that many Grass Energy in this deck anyways. Gardenia either needs, you know, Training Court, Energy Search, Energy Retrieval, or at least 12 energies in your deck, 12 basic energies. If you don't have 12 basic grass, you better be playing Training Cards. So that's why we don't have Gardenia in this deck. If you want to play less energies, you can actually choose to do like Eldegoss, Cotton Lift, you know, some other way of drawing out your energies, and then Gardenia to attach to your bench. So good thing about that card is that it allows you to attach to your non-grass type Pokemons. You can attach to any of your bench Pokemon, but only to your bench, and you can actually attach after drawing 2 cards from the deck. You don't have to attach first. You can draw first, then attach. Okay, we have to drag out the Dreepy. We have to try to pull the Dreepy out from the bench and kill it before it evolves, because that Dragapult actually was a bit tricky to kill. We have the Radiant Venusaur ready to go though. We got a heads, which is pretty cool. And now we're down to 2 prize remaining. All we need to do is kill the Manaphy and the Miltank. Okay, we got Rare Candy for the second Venusaur. So this was the game apparently that we got only 1 Venusaur. The other one was discarded, and the final copy is prized. And now finally we got the final copy out, the final stage 2 Venusaur. All we need to do is Rare Candy evolve, and they didn't play a Marnie. Now we get to play the Rare Candy. I think we got a bit lucky for this game, I guess, because the Galar Mine worked out. Sour Spit worked out, I guess. Did we use Sour Spit? I don't think we used Sour Spit. GMX rolling worked out. Loopy Lasso was a huge boost, a big help against one price decks, I guess. Especially if they play, Pokemon with abilities like Ambipom. You can actually choose to avoid hitting those Pokemons, or you can choose to trap them in the active and, target those, try to kill them by pulling them into the active spot. We got our second Venusaur, and we could actually win the game already by retreating or switching to our Venusaur and then Solar Beam on the active, but we forgot that the bench Miltank actually has a cape. So with the cape attached, we cannot actually kill the Miltank. Because confusing it means now it gets to retreat. If it's asleep, it cannot retreat, right? They need a switch card. But now that they're confused, they actually get to retreat. And they got the switch, so it doesn't really matter. And they couldn't even kill our Radiant Venusaur. That's quite sad, isn't it? They drew 0 prizes for this game. We're just gonna do Solar Beam for the knockout. We did a Bird Keeper. And now we got the final prize by killing the second Miltank. Victory. Flapple VMAX with Venusaur. Who would have thought? Battle styles with Pokemon Go. Flapple is underrated though. It is a bit difficult to make it work, I guess. Because Gmax rolling is not a good attack. Once you get hit, you cannot do that much damage anymore, and 250 is not a lot, honestly. But for 3 energies though, it's actually pretty good, because you get to play Flaffy, you get to play anything, right? You get to play anything, because it is actually 2 colorless. 1 grass, 2 colorless costs. That means you get to play any energies. All you need to do is add, search for that 1 grass energy, trading card for that 1 grass energy, and then attach, with a welder or something. We don't have welder anymore for standard. But you get the point. Melanie, energy switch. So we are actually up against a fighting deck right now. A Lucario V-Star with Lycanroc. Lycanroc VMAX. They got double V Jeopardy. Very interesting. A rock and a fighting, both in the same deck. Radiant Greninja to discard the fighting energy. And they just played a Crushing Hammer. Oh my god. So, funny thing about Flapple is that you cannot afford to get hammered, because Gmax rolling needs so many energies. So I think Melanie is probably the best card to play with Flapple and Memory Capsule. For example, if you do a Cheryl and then Sour Spit, Cheryl with Memory Capsule Sour Spit, you can actually play a Melanie on your next turn to get up to 3 energies on, after playing the Cheryl on your last turn. You actually get to do GMX rolling, on the next. So Sour Spit with Memory Capsule after playing your Cheryl, and then GMX rolling after that. That would be kind of the perfect harmony to seal the deal for a V-Star knockout. Not quite enough to kill a VMAX, obviously, but a V-Star would be perfect. Because we even have Venusaur for the extra poison condition. If they don't play, if you don't do Venusaur though, I think we should definitely have tried, we should have experimented with Melanie, but I don't know why we chose not to do that. I guess it's because it's a bit more difficult to play 2 different energies in the same deck, because there's not many ways to search for your energies out. if you play Capacious Bucket, it's going to be a bit more difficult to attach your Grass Energy, and if you don't have your Grass Energy attached, you cannot attack with Sour Spit. You need the Grass Energy for Sour Spit, and if you play Energy Search, you're gonna have to reduce one more card from the deck, and I don't think we can reduce anything else. Replacing a supporter for an item is not a good, is not safe, just because we need enough supporter to draw for the evolution, for the Rare Candy evolution, for our Flapple to evolve, for our Flapple to get the Memory Capsule, for, you know, energy supplies in our hand. We need a lot of things to be able to sustain this strategy, this combo. And if we don't have enough supporter cards, we cannot sustain the combo. So that's why Melanie is a bit more difficult, playing two different energies in your deck. And I suppose that's the reason our subconscious did not chose that path, I guess. Because it's actually a legit path though. If you don't play Venusaur, if you play nothing but Flapple VMAX and like a Bibarel maybe, you can choose to do either a Rose or a Melanie. Cheryl Rose with Melanie. Cheryl with Rose or Melanie. Plus the Memory Capsule, of course. You can't even do, what's it called again? Shopping Center with Choice Belt for a VMAX knockout. So I'm thinking Bibarel, Flapple VMAX, Raiden Howlucha, and Shopping Center, Memory Capsule, Choice Belt to kill a VMAX. To kill a V-Star, we just need Shopping Center, Choice Belt, right? We don't need the Howlucha, obviously. Because 280 plus 30 more with Howlucha is 310, which is exactly enough to kill any VMAX if we did our Sour Spit on the last turn. But we still need to play the stadium. We still need to play a different stadium though. We may need the Galar Mine still. I don't know, it's kind of speculation. We may not play the Galar Mine if we are playing Bibarel and no Venusaurs. That's too much speculation right there. I really want Flapple to be like in the game though. I don't know why people are not playing this card. Flapple is a legit card. It should be played more often. Because it actually does a V-Star knockout with Choice Belt. If you do Choice Belt, you can actually kill a V-Star with one hit. That's pretty crazy. Like, we have a lot of heal cards in Standard now. We got Lucky Ice Pop, we got Honey, we got Cook, we got so many heal cards. Yell Towel, Moo Cheese, but nobody's... We even have Kricketune. You know, Kricketune to add HP is not doing much though, is it? Adding HP doesn't actually counter the effect of that attack, the negative effect of having damage counters on your Flapple. If you have more HP, it doesn't really mean that you're gonna get less damage from the Flapple, right? You're probably gonna get more damage anyways, which is kind of the reverse effect. The reverse of what you want. It's a bit sad that we don't get to transfer damage counters. We only get to transfer with Life Shaker for Psychic Pokemons, and that's a bit sad because, you know, Flapple doesn't get to shake off its damage counter, shake off its, you know, bruises. Here comes, and they just did that within a single turn, so that was a big mistake apparently, killing off the Lycanroc, but we actually got 3 prizes though. Was it a VMAX? I think it was. Now we actually cannot attack with the Flapple, and we got no extra Flapples on the bench, so this one actually has 2 copies of Rose. This is a bit of a different list. We have 2 Rose in his deck, 2 Cheryl, and 1 Pawpat, as you can see right now, is not working that well. So that's why we eventually decided to play only 1 Rose and 2 Cheryl. And finally decided to scrap those cards for more item recovery. Instead of Rose and Cheryl, we did Lucky Eyes Pop Honey. Honey for Flapple VMAX though is pretty interesting. Like, it's a sweet Pokemon, so it kind of makes sense. Caramel Apple. Appleton and Flapple has the same Gigantamax. Isn't that weird? So that means that Appleton V should be able to evolve into Flapple VMAX, but I don't think you're able to do that. I don't think you can put that evolution onto Appleton, because we actually have Appleton V, which has an attack that helps you recover. Flapple V doesn't have an attack that recovers damage from your own VMAX if you play Memory Capsule, but Appleton actually gets to recover damage. It has Sweet Panic, I think. I forgot what it's called, but Sweet something that actually helps you recover 30 damage from your Flapple, from your Appleton for 3 energies, I think. We got a pretty bad hand. We got 2 Rose, 2 Rare Candies, and nothing else. No incense. Like, we have no way of drawing cards. I think we're forced to play a Rose right here, because Rose is gonna help us empty our hand, so that we get to draw with Venusaur. I'm not sure if we want to do that though, because we actually have a lot more other supporter cards in the deck, but we got Rose instead, so that was pretty unlucky. Okay, Memory Capsule is gonna help us collect 2 more prizes for this turn with Wing Attack. There we go, we killed the Lucario before it evolves, and that means all we need to do is kill the Zapdos for the final 1 prize. We got a Cheryl, but they're probably gonna do a Raihan energy switch. They got a Zapdos energy switch combo to do beatdown. They can even evolve and do Aura, what's it called again? Aura Sphere? Aura Star. For like 70x damage, 280 damage. Because they're doing 70x for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Karina's Focus, interesting. Karina's Focus, kind of better than Cynthia. If you didn't get a knockout on your last turn, it's a bit better than Cynthia. If you're not playing a 1 price card, better to play Karina than Cynthia, right? Because you're not going to get knocked out that often. If you do a V-Star though, I think it warrants a Cynthia. If you do a VMAX, no way, right? I've seen people play Dragapult VMAX with Raihan though, which is, you know, a bit silly, but it kind of makes sense, I guess. Because all you need is that 1 extra energy to kill, to do Max Phantom with Choice Belt. So I guess it makes sense. If you get it out at the right time though, if you don't get it out at the right time, it's not going to do anything. So that's why people play Shady Dealings with Dragapult. Because Dragapult does only 130. If you do Quick Shoot, it's kind of, you know, the perfect harmony. And I don't see that in Standard anymore. I don't know why. People have given up. I guess they got bored with Dragapult and they wanted to play the new cards. Palkia V-Star, all the new V-Stars. I don't see Charizard as well, which is pretty odd. Charizard V-Star is kind of off the board. Nowhere to be found. So we got another copy of Flapple VMAX inside the deck. That's why we are keeping the Rose in our hand like they're precious babies. Because we actually had to play the Palpat on the last turn. That means if we play the Rose, we're not able to use it anymore later on. And this time they actually did a boss. Unfortunately, are not able to kill the Venusaur. Because Aura Star is only doing 140. And Fighting Instinct, fighting, I don't know what it's called, but the first attack is only doing 120 against a 1 price card. If they boss the Crobat, they get to do 240 damage. Well, more, because it's actually weak towards fighting type. But if they boss the 1 price Venusaur, they're only doing 120 base, which is not enough to kill our Venusaur, and we actually get to do our Loopy Lasso for the final kill, knocking out the 1 price Zapdos for the win with Pollen Hazard, because it actually gets to do 90 plus 30 more from the special conditions. So 120 damage against the Galarian Zapdos, which only has 110 HP. That means it's just nice to collect the final prize, winning the game against Lucario V-Star. Eternatus. They got a Darkrai V-Star box, Eternatus coin, and they got a pretty interesting, nice looking Halloween sort of deck sleeve. Purple, black. I don't think it's Halloween though. It looks a bit more like the trainer kit. I think it's the Lumineon trainer kit. I just saw that on one of the online stores. Pretty interesting because they actually have like all the necessary cards for standard. They even have the expanded cards as well, but more for the standard. They got like VIP pass. They got do they have VIP pass? I think so. They got Boss's Order, Marnie, Cross Switcher, Cross Receiver, Power Tablet. What else do they have? Cynthia, Bruno, I guess. All the necessary things for your standard, and 2 Lumineons. It's pretty cheap though. Pretty cheap for all the tech cards. And you can actually build any deck you want with those tech, right? If you have the foundations, you can actually mix and match, and then put in the foundation, mix and match whatever combo you like, add in the foundations, glue them together, and you actually got yourself a proper deck, a deck that is able to win in standard. Lumineon Crobat is all you need, right? Sometimes that's all you need. Not many people like to play that card just because Lumineon is a 2 price liability. If you get boss and if they boss you and kill your Lumineon for 2 price, sometimes it's just the worst feeling ever, and it's hard to come back from that. It's hard to come back from a 2 price knockout, especially if they do it like super fast with Arceus V-Star and Palkia's Star Portal for like 3 energies from the discard pile, Melanie, Ice Rider. I mean, there's so many things. Shadow Rider can even kill anything if they got enough evolutions on the second turn. With Cresselia, obviously, if they do Cresselia on the first, they can actually kill anything. Having like 4 Shadow Riders on the next turn. If you knock out the Cresselia though, they may not have enough energies for the knockout, because that's equal to 3 plus possibly 3 VMAXs, right? If they got 3 VMAXs, that would be 7 energies in the game, plus the Choice Belt, that would be 250 damage. So not enough to kill a V-Star, but enough to kill a V card, a basic V. Enough to kill a Whimsicott though. We got 3 VIP pass in our hand, which is just horrible. Kamado is showing up at the right time, I guess, because it actually helps us discard everything, including the bloody VIP passes. And we actually get to empty our hand to play Sunny Bloom for the extra draw. Rare Candy, we got it. Our second Venusaur, Loopy Lasso. So we actually are buying so many turns. We actually bought a lot of turns with Sour Spit, and eventually knocked out the Miltank with nothing but the poison condition. That is actually pretty pretty funny because they have a rugged helmet, but it's not working because we are not damaging the Miltank. If you don't damage your opponent's Pokemon with the helmet attached, then that helmet is not gonna, that helmet is not gonna take effect as long as your Pokemon takes 0 damage. And since we are not doing any damage to the Miltank, we are not, we are not forced to put any energies from our Pokemon back into our hand. Sour Spit again. So they cannot attack, but they can actually retreat because we got no Galar Mine. Um, they don't have an air balloon though, so that means they're gonna have to waste that 1 energy on the active just to retreat, and they cannot actually attack with the second one because they don't have enough energies, and they just realized that they got no, they just got spitted. They got not enough energies to attack because they need 2 more, thanks to Sour Spit. So they just played the Leon for nothing. Leon just um was a waste. That was a capture, and they actually captured nothing. Was it a capture or a lucky energy? I'm not sure what it is. Boss's order. It's a treasure energy. Okay, it's not a lucky or a capture. So we're gonna play a research for grass energy. All we need is 1 grass to deny them from attacking with the Miltank. But I think we're just gonna Loopy Lasso to kill the Miltank on the bench with the poison until we are able to knock out the next Miltank with our Venusaur. Because I don't think it's smart to invest energies on the Flapple since it's not doing any damage at all. Might as well just invest energies on the Venusaur. We have to be a bit careful though, because Venusaur only has 150 HP, the Radiant one. And if they attack with the powerful energy, they may be able to kill our Radiant Venusaur with 1 hit. And that's our only way to kill the Miltank. Apart from our stage 2 Venusaur, which requires 4 energies, and we may not have enough energies anymore by the time our Radiant Venusaur gets knocked out. So we better be a bit more serious with killing the second Miltank, because the second Miltank can do 110 damage already. 110 damage is not quite enough, but eventually if they play a Leon and a powerful energy, they can actually kill our Radiant Venusaur. Let's just do the Galar Mine later, because that Dina Tree Hill is actually helping us deny their own Miltank from healing. They cannot heal as well. They cannot do Mumu Cheese, Cook, Pokemon Center Lady. They can't play they can play a Scoop Up Net though. If they play a Scoop Up Net, they can recover all the damage counters. And they didn't. They actually passed a turn and we got our first Miltank kill with nothing but Loopy Lasso. We actually killed that Miltank with Loopy Lasso. Can you imagine? And now we got the second knockout with our Pollen Hazard because they didn't attach a cape. So that means we're doing a net of 120 damage with our special conditions, Poison, Burn, and Confusion. 90 plus 30 more. And that's a knockout. Bye-bye, Miltank. A full-on Miltank. I think they're playing a Galarian Moltres because they got Darkness Energy. So probably a Moltres Zapdos deck. A full-on anti-meta with more Miltanks than necessary, I suppose. This is a very anti-meta box. Targeting probably, those V-Stars and VMAXs, Arceus, Palkia, Dialga, Mew VMAX. And right now we're up against a Darkness box. Oh, it's not a Darkness deck. It's a Mewtwo V-Star with Lunatone. So I don't think we stand a good chance. I don't think we stand any chance, for that matter, against a Lunatone Soul Rock deck. And since we are showcasing a matchup against Lunatone, you would probably be expecting a Mewtwo V-Star. Because we cannot win. It's impossible for Flapple to win against Lunatone. We got a Bird Keeper in our hand. We are forced to discard 2 cards just to get. Well, we actually want to empty our hand though. I think that's the reason we played the Ultra Ball. I don't know if that's wise because now we have one less Incense in the deck and one less Ultra Ball, and it's a bit more difficult to Rare Candy evolve without those cards inside the deck. So I'm not sure if that was the best decision to be making. Anyways, let's just hope for the best. That's all you can do sometimes. Heavy ball for nothing. Trading card, Greninja, Mewtwo, Crobat. Back when Urshifu was a thing, like back in battle styles, Crobat used to be such a terrible card, right? Crobat, Gale Thrust to kill the Crobat, Beat Down to kill the Crobat. Like Urshifu tend to do a boss. If they play Urshifu, they're probably gonna do a lot of boss to knock out Crobats on the bench. And we don't have Lumineon. We have nothing but Crobat and Eldegoss. I think Eldegoss from Rebel Clash, Eldegoss V for the draw support. Sort of is not a proper draw support. I would say Happy Match is not really a draw support, but it's kind of a it kind of helps you recycle your Marnie or research or any other support cards you want, which is pretty cool. And we don't really see that as often now in standard, which is okay because we have Lumineon, which is post rotation. Kricketune is from Battle Styles as well, if I'm not mistaken. Kricketune V with Exciting Stage. Same ability as your Regidrago, except if it's on your bench, you still get to draw until you have 3 cards. So it's a bit better. But you can't actually stack the ability though. You can't use it more than once per turn. Whereas with the Regidrago, if you can switch enough times, you can keep on using, if you can scoop up that switch, you can keep using its ability, right? You can not keep using it, but you can use it as many times as you like for as many copies you have, as many copies you put into play this turn. Obviously, it only works in the active. That means you have to keep on switching, but it's still possible, right? At least it's possible to keep on using, to stack that ability in a single turn. Whereas with Kricketune, it's impossible because they already stated that you cannot use more than 1 exciting stage per turn with your Kricketune. Okay, here comes the, well, they just benched the Mewtwo, so I don't think they can evolve yet. And putting it in the active is not a smart move, because we got 2 energies on our Flapple. We could get the VMAX at any point. I'm guessing we would at least get either an Ultra Ball or a supporter card from the top deck. And we just got the Incense. There we go, we got the knockout. We get to kill the Mewtwo before it evolves with our Gmax rolling. And we got Honey in our hand for the next turn. Hopefully recovering all damage from the Flapple. You never know. You may just get lucky. You never know when's your lucky day. We got a Cheryl and a Galar Mine. Lunatone is gonna help them do a lot of damage. That means we are not able to hit as high with our GMAX rolling anymore. They need at least 170 damage to deny us from knocking out the Lunatone. If they can do more than 170, which is, you know, to be fair, it's quite easy because they got 2 Soul Rock and a Choice Belt already. So I think they are already doing 210 base if they attach from their hand. 210 means we are only doing 40 damage with GMAX rolling on the next turn. 40 damage is not even enough to kill it with 2 strikes. So that is a bit sad. We need our Memory Capsule. If we get the Memory Capsule, we just need to play Wing Attack, knock out the Lunatone, reset their strategy, force them to get their Rescue Carrier or the next Mewtwo, and then, you know, they actually need to bench another Lunatone for the Mewtwo as well. So it's a bit more difficult to attack with the Mewtwo, apparently. Because they're playing so many copies of Soul Rock and Lunatone. Or maybe they just got unlucky and have the Mewtwo prized. 210. If they did like 30 less damage, well, it's not enough. They need to do like 60 less damage. And that would be enough for us to kill the Lunatone. And we flip the tails. Well, we got a honey in our hand. If we got like 1 or 2 heads, we could have done the knockout. But they just gave us the tails from the get-go. That's terrible. No lucky ice pop. We got a shovel. We decided not to use it yet. And we're just gonna switch or retreat and wait until we have the Memory Capsule, I guess. If we get the Memory Capsule, we can kill the Lunatone. We should be charging up the Venusaur, but we chose to charge up the second Flapple. We got the Flapple instead of the Venusaur, Ivysaur, which could be a big mistake. So we chose to do our switch. And then Galar Mine. We got a dead hand for the next turn, which is pretty depressing. Oh, is that a Marnie? My bad. We actually got a Marnie. Oopsie. Are they gonna do a boss? Probably. They haven't played that card yet. Moon Kinesis. Basic Pokemon does 30x. It's even better than Shadow Rider VMAX. Isn't that ridiculous? Well, Shadow Rider actually allows you to do 30x for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So you can actually attach to your other Pokemon. Whereas for Lunatone, you have to attach to, you know, itself. It only counts for energies attached to itself. If you have, for example, 5 psychic energy attached to your second, like to your bench Mewtwo, or to your bench Cresselia, or something else, like a Shadow Rider, Lunatone is not doing extra damage for those energies. So I guess that's probably the main difference for Shadow Rider and Lunatone. But still, Lunatone is kind of better than Shadow because it has 30 base. Max Jice has 10 base. So I feel like for a basic, it's pretty strong. It's like overpowered, I would say. Way too overpowered. Basic, like come on. They got Soul Rock to help you charge up the energies every bloody fucking turn. So we chose to play the Marnie. And they actually did a boss. Now we need the memory capsule. We actually did the capsule on the bench. So now we just need to play wing attack. We should have just, well, they just conceded for some reason. I think maybe they have a shit hand after the Marty. Or maybe they have no more attackers after the Lunatone. I guess they're expecting for us to do the boss. We need to play the Venusaur. I don't think we got a single Venusaur in the game. So that's pretty depressing. If we got the Loopy Lasso, we can actually do wing attack on the same Lunatone after doing the escape rope. And that would have helped us kill off for another prize. But not just that, that means they have no attackers on the next turn unless if they play, you know, Rescue Carrier. If they do that though, they need to switch. If they don't switch, we're just gonna kill it off again on the next turn with Loopy Lasso over and over. So Galar Mine is helping us a lot, I guess. If they don't get their stadium card, they cannot retreat, they can't switch, and they can't damage us. All they need is like probably 90 damage to kill off that Flapple, because it has like a lot of damage counters on it. It's heavily damaged, about to die, so it doesn't really need, they don't need much to kill us. Right now we're up against a Stonjourner VMAX, a full-on rock type deck. They got Stonjourner, Rhyperior V, and Colossal VMAX, and some interesting supports as well. So we'll see as the game progresses what they're playing. They got Zamazenta V from Celebrations to reduce damage done by your opponent's VMAX. Done by your opponent's VMAX to your fighting Pokemon by 20. Crushing Hammer, bloody annoying. Now we got 0 energies from the Flapple. And that's really bad. Are we gonna do Sour Spit on the next turn? Probably. Maybe Escape Rope first. So we did the Escape Rope. And I think we should be playing Sour Spit. We got the Memory Capsule, so we should be evolving right now. Let's just get another evolution. Ivysaur, obviously. And then draw something with our Sunny Bloom while doing Sour Spit for 40 damage. Also, they cannot attack with the Rhyperior that easily because they got like, they need 5 energies to do the first attack now. So double turbo is not gonna help them. I think they actually need like 2 fighting and 1 colorless for the first attack, so double turbo wasn't going to help them anyways. Either way. Choice Belt. They're doing 70 damage to our Flapple. That means we're doing 180 damage, I guess. 180 damage with GMX rolling. Loopy Lasso, let's do it right now. We're gonna drag the Rhyperior and then trap it in the active with its own heavy retreat cost and also the sleep condition, possibly flipping a Tails for them to get trapped. Without a switch, we actually get to kill them off eventually with GMX rolling. So we are doing twice as much damage because we are hitting for a weakness for this game. It wasn't really too fair, I guess, but I'm just gonna stick with it because good, you know, wins are wins nonetheless. Wins are still wins. Hop. Hop for 3 cards. You should be playing Avery or Bird Keeper. Why are you playing a Hop? That's such a bad card to be playing. Avery could actually sometimes help your opponent if they play a lot of Crobat Luminions. You're actually helping them empty their bench to play more draw supports or like more Pokemon supports, ability supports. Okay, we're gonna do a Zinnia right now. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to decide whether to discard the research or the rare candy. We got 4 rare candy, so I think we should be discarding the rare candy. I think this list is one of the earliest version. So the earliest version, we only have 3 copies of rare candy. I eventually decided, like, you know what, we need 4 to be able to evolve a bit faster and easier into the stage 2 for us to use it enough times early, for us to use it at just the right time for that extra boss effect, and also that extra 1 damage counter though with poison sometimes is, you know, just what we need. We chose to do Sour Spit again, helping us buy a bit more time, you know, bide our time to deal with the Stonejourner later. Because Stonejourner can probably knock us out with, like, GMAX Grandfall. Is it called Grandfall? I forgot what it's called. But the VMAX actually does have, you know, something that does 200 damage. And Colossal is gonna do Eruption, something Eruption for, you know, not just extra damage if they get an energy from the top deck, but also they get to attach it onto itself. You get energy supply and you get extra damage if you're lucky enough to have your top deck as an energy. Okay, we're just gonna charge up our Flapple. Do a Memory Capsule on the second one probably. Let's just play that later. Let's do a Galar Mine and then GMAX rolling. Should we kill off the Rhyperior right now, or should we kill it off later? Makes no sense for us to keep it alive, so we're just gonna GMAX rolling for the knockout here. We may be able to draw a supporter or yet another Venusaur from the prize with a rare candy. You never know. Rare candy, Venusaur. No Venusaur. Oh well. Okay, here comes the Great Ball. They're playing so many different Pokemons. They got all the different fighting Pokemons. They got Geodude with Graveler and Golem, Stonejourner, Zamazenta, and Colossal. And they just conceded though, because they know we're playing their weakness and they don't stand a chance. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy your life.